Once upon a time, I turned to Craigslist in my quest for a room to rent, a place to call home. The process took me about a week, and eventually, I stumbled upon what seemed like a suitable living arrangement with a potential roommate named Aaron. The excitement grew as we exchanged details, and soon, I found myself packing my belongings into the trunk of my car. Driving 30 minutes away from the main town, I arrived at what I thought would be my new abode. However, reality struck as I faced an unexpectedly old wooden home, supposedly passed down from Aaron's parents. Despite the exterior's antiquity, the interior presented a stark contrast: modern, clean, and recently renovated. Satisfied, I settled in, reveling in the comfort of my new dwelling. Days passed without incident, and the oddities began to surface. Aaron, my seemingly normal roommate, would, without fail, approach a locked door every night. It raised questions, as he never mentioned a basement despite the house being described as a one-story dwelling. The mystery lingered until one night when curiosity overwhelmed me. I observed Aaron's nightly routine. He would open his bedroom door, linger at my door, and finally venture towards the mysterious locked entrance. Unable to ignore the growing unease, I confronted him one night. Startled, Aaron bolted for the back door, disappearing into the dark woods beyond. Shaken and disturbed, I decided to investigate the locked door. Armed with a knife, I discovered a neglected basement, untouched by the renovations that adorned the rest of the house. Fear gnawed at me, and my curiosity warred with terror. Eventually I fled, packing my life into 2 suitcases, and drove away, leaving the mystery behind. The story didn't end there. Nearly 5 years later, a resurgence of curiosity led me to look up the house online. To my shock, it had been torn down shortly after my departure. An article revealed that the house had been abandoned due to undisclosed criminal findings. The revelation left me unsettled for weeks, grappling with the lingering mysteries of that peculiar chapter in my life. 3 years ago, when I was a 25-year-old male, I experienced an unusual and unsettling incident. At the time, I had just signed the lease for a small house in my town after living in an apartment for several years. Given my limited furniture and lack of substantial decorations, I decided to search Craigslist for an affordable, larger TV to fill the space in my new rental. Scrolling through listings, I came across a few flat-screen TVs that caught my eye. However, most were beyond my budget, and truth be told, they were more sophisticated than I really needed. My main goal was to find a sizable TV to enhance my living room's ambiance, with less concern for the picture quality. After some searching, I stumbled upon a listing that seemed to fit the bill. It was a cheap, large TV, claimed to be in working condition, though it was a decade-old flat screen, which by today's standards wouldn't even be considered flat anymore. Eager to secure a deal, I contacted the owner, Mitch, via email expressing my interest. The following morning, I received an enthusiastic response from Mitch, expressing his eagerness to show me the TV. Despite his seemingly excessive enthusiasm, I chalked it up to a harmless display of excitement. We agreed to meet at his place the next day at 6:30 p.m. As I approached Mitch's house after work, I noticed all the lights were on inside. The front door was partially open, sans a screen door, giving me the impression that it was left that way for my arrival. However, when I rang the doorbell, a dropped object on the far end of the house heightened my unease. Just as I contemplated leaving, footsteps approached from behind the door, which widened to reveal a man asking if I needed something. Hesitant but committed, I mentioned the scheduled TV viewing at 6:30 p.m. To my surprise, the man allowed me inside. But at that moment, I sensed that something was off. This wasn't the cheerful Mitch from our emails. Instead, a grumpy middle-aged man greeted me. The TV was conveniently placed in the room adjacent to the entrance. Anxious to conclude the transaction, I declared my intention to purchase it, handed over the money, and expected a smooth exit. However, without warning, the man grabbed my shoulder, forcefully pushed me towards the door, and ordered me to leave. Fleeing to my truck, I drove away, realizing I had narrowly escaped an alarming situation. Shortly afterward, I reported the incident to the police, pondering the audacity of the perpetrators meeting at their own residence to commit a robbery. However, subsequent revelations shocked me even more. The man I encountered at the house wasn't Mitch. He was a different customer who had robbed Mitch just moments before my arrival. Mitch, the genuine owner, was found unconscious in his kitchen, but survived with severe injuries. The assailant had posed as another Craigslist customer interested in kitchenware Mitch was selling, orchestrating a violent robbery. What added a surreal twist to the story was that Mitch had sent the assailant a Google Calendar invite, inadvertently revealing the criminal's email and full name. The police swiftly apprehended the imposter within days. Despite the initial confusion and danger, I eventually had the chance to meet the real Mitch, a genuinely happy old man, despite the unfortunate events that transpired in his home. As I sorted through my belongings in preparation for an upcoming move, I opted to use Craigslist as a platform to sell some of my old, unused items. Among them were high-quality, functional motor tools that I had replaced with battery-powered alternatives. Eager to organize my possessions and make some extra cash, I posted a power drill driver and a matching tool set for $80, deeming it a reasonable deal given their condition. Within just an hour, I received 2 responses to my listing. One individual offered $50, but I politely declined, while the other expressed keen interest, willing to purchase the tools that same night at the listed price. Agreeing to the arrangement, I suggested meeting at 5 p.m. in my driveway, adhering to my practice of not allowing strangers into my home during transactions. However, the situation took an unexpected turn when, just past 4:30 p.m., there was a knock at my door. Peering out, I encountered a man with a red car in the driveway, claiming to be the buyer but arriving earlier than agreed upon. Unsettled by this, I asked him to wait in his car for a moment, hastily gathering the tools. Despite my efforts to ensure a smooth transaction, the buyer, upon inspecting the tools, proposed a mere $20. Firmly, I insisted on the agreed-upon $80. Surprisingly, he abruptly walked away without further negotiation, leaving me perplexed and slightly annoyed. The situation escalated when hours later, I spotted the same red car parked down the road, triggering concern. Ignoring an initial knock on my door, I soon found myself confronted by the persistent buyer, claiming he had the money and was ready to purchase the tools. Skeptical, I called the police, providing them with details about the man and his car. As I awaited law enforcement, the situation took a chilling turn. The persistent buyer admitted to planning a robbery, confessing that he had been stalking my house throughout the night. His failed attempts to climb a tree and jump onto the roof, coupled with the revelation of a knife in his possession, underscored the severity of the threat. Grateful for the timely arrival of the police, I realized the gravity of the situation I had narrowly avoided. Since then, I've chosen to abstain from using Craigslist and remain vigilant, ensuring the security of every window in my home as a precautionary measure. The incident served as a stark reminder of the importance of caution in online transactions and personal safety.